Good morning, peace and blessings, family. How y'all doing? Okay, so I know we're supposed to start at 7, but the interesting thing is I thought it was 7:30 because I have a 4:30. I have a 6:30 tonight. I think I just got the times mixed up with the 30. But I was able to get my walk in this morning, and so maybe that was the universe saying, "No, you gonna walk because you're healthy. You need to make sure you walk." So, any to the how, we're gonna get this dear beautiful Queen Mother, Iya uh, Obafemi on. And so I see now that she signed on. Okay, I see you on. Oh, this is easier than you think, sis. It should be adding you. Let's see. I'm really excited because we're gonna be talking about Oshun, and Oshun is what's up. And let's see if we can get this sister in here. I see where you requested to be added, and then you have to accept it on your phone. You know, this is I love working through this technology. There you go. You're on
You know,
live.
I'm kind of slow with this technology.
No, you did great. You did great. You did
And
great.
Cairo, everybody.
Hey,
Greetings.
greetings, greetings. So, first of all, welcome. And make sure I say your name right. You're Iya Obafemi.
Obafemi, yes.
Obafemi. Okay, good. Last week, the sisters ended in the N-I, so I had to remember Femi. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to get my pronunciations down. So we're going to talk today. This is a good friend of mine in New York, Danielle, and we have what's called Traditional Tuesdays. And on Traditional Tuesdays, no matter where you work, you wear your traditional garb into work. It's a way of celebrating your African culture. So I'm building upon that, and that came up with Traditional Tuesdays, Way to the Path. And I wanted to talk about the Orishas because I get asked about them a lot. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out in this universe of the Facebook and call on some of the ears to explain some of the Orishas. And so you're gonna talk to me today about Oshun, where some people think Oshun is the famous of the Orishas, if there is. I know we see her a lot in the
Right.
community. So what I wanted to do is to ask you, how did you even discover the Orishas, period? Your way to your path.
Well, how I discovered the Orisha was my mom. My mother was always the spiritual person going to every. She was trying to find herself being a young mother. And so one time she came across, she had a dream about something, and then she told me about it, and then she met somebody, and they was telling her about the Orisha. She's always been in African spirituality, but Orisha never came across her plate. So this lady introduced my mom to the Orisha, and I was like, oh no, I'm not getting down with that voodoo stuff. I can't help you with that, man. It's just too much. And so even though I was all black powered and all for black people, when it came to African spirituality, I ran from it, because society had me believing that it was voodoo. So one day my 6-year-old son came in the house and said, he seen me sitting on the couch, and I don't know what I was doing, but he said, Ma, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, just stressing out a little bit. He was like, Ma, if you having any problems with money, we should go to the river like me and Nana and talk to Oshun and she'll bless you real quick. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this little boy talking about? So I had to find out what was going on in my child's life. What was my mother introducing him to? So once I started going with my son, I visited my mother's Zile and I started going, and that's how, I got in touch with the Orisha through my mom and
Right
my
on.
son.
Right on. So let's take a minute and fix your camera because your camera is
Uh,
doing a lot of moving and a lot of sound. We want to make sure we hear you
uh,
loud and clear.
oh, okay.
There you go. That's
Maybe I
pretty
should
good.
find somewhere to sit it.
Okay. So take your time. We want to make sure we get to hear you loud and clear. People start to
Yeah,
sign on because folks want to really know about Orisha.
I gotta
And
find
today we're
something.
talking about Oshun. So make
I'm
sure.
getting a little stand. Excuse me to put the phone on because I'm holding it.
Okay, that's all right. Take your time. Take your
Uh,
time.
uh,
But it's nice as we're waiting for you to find that spot. It's a beautiful story that you discovered that from your mother
and my 6-year-old son.
and your 6-year-old son. Right on.
Yes. Let's
Right
see.
on.
How about that? How about that? Is that better?
Yes, that's perfect. Oh,
Okay.
that's great. All
Okay.
right. Okay, so with that being said, how did you, after you discovered that from your mother and your 6-year-old son, what was that? Was it a little bit more easier for you because you had your mother teaching you that, or did you still have to go and learn from others or do more study? Like, how did you really get into Oshun?
Um, I got into Osun after I got initiated to E5. But I was dealing with all of the Orisha because my mother was like the Orisha in Detroit. So she had all of the Orisha. So I was introduced to all of the Orisha at the same time. My mother used to give classes and things like that. And these are the things, this is what taught me who the Orisha were. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically how it happened. I got taught. I was learning from different people. I had my mother's godfather was in Chicago. I learned a lot from him. Um, it was just like people all around me were trying to get me to come into this pantheon. I wasn't ready to be responsible for anybody else's life or anything like that. So I ran and I ran. And so one day my mother passed away in 2014, and she had an itutu done. This is how you bury a priest. They have an itutu, and so I had in the itutu. It said that the daughter inherits all of her mother's things.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, oh my God, I've been running from this, and even though I was helping my mother, and I had my hand to be five, I was crowned Oya, some years ago, but I just used it for my protection because I wasn't ready for the responsibility.
Mm.
So when my mother passed away, it's like the essence of all of the Orisha took over my head. So they were all living inside of me. And so I had the experience, I had the pleasure to experience and well, I can't really explain. I had the pleasure of being in the energy of the Orisha when my mother passed away.
Right on. Right on.
So I had then I got initiated to E5. Then I had a stronger connection because I was divining and I was doing all kinds of things and different Orisha was talking to me and I was making different offerings. So I had to learn about these different Orisha. Even though I was learning about them from '94. But I was in a real bad car accident and I lost a lot of my memories. So I'm just gaining it back, and a lot of things that I know now are things that I knew when my mother was living. So I'm getting my memory back on a lot of things. So Oshun came to me when I was really sad and going through something, and this energy came to me and said, she poured all this water on me in my dream, and she poured all this water on me, and she said, from this day on, everything is going to be fine for you. I want you to get up and get that $800 under that pot and go buy you something nice to wear. And I woke up like, who was that? And what was that about? What pot? So I woke up, I went to my mom's Oshun pot. It was 3 days after my mother passed, and I looked up under the pot and it was $800 under there. And from that point on, I had this what is this strong sense of being with Oshun because I personalized her as a
Mm.
person. You know what I'm saying? So she was all mine because she came to me in my dream, and it's so many stories on how I got to Oshun that's just the main one that made me sit down and really work with the Orisha.
Okay, so what is the origins of Oshun?
The origins of Oshun is not an Orisha. She's a Rumole. And the
Okay.
Rumole are the original beings that were put here on earth to put it in order, and they were created by Olodumare, and Oshun is one of those people. You know, she's been here since before Earth, so she's, you know, a lot of people confuse her with an Orisha, but Orisha are people that have been here before. They have family, they have bloodlines here on Earth. You know, so a Rumale is Oshun, so she don't have. Well, she probably has family, but she's been here over and over and over and over again since before the Earth. So that's the origin of her. Olodumare created. Olodumare is the all energy. Some people call him God or whatever. Olodumare is the all energy that birthed Sumarumule to come down and get order on Earth. And so Oshun was the only female. She had to help bring order to the Earth. All that sweet femininity, sweet water, you know, and the world wouldn't have been anything without the feminine energy,
Right.
love and all those things, fertility and things like that. And those are the things that Oshun governs, some of her characteristics. You know, so we need divine femininity, and we need that back in our community because the women in our community have switched roles. You know, I don't need a man. I don't need this, and you know, I can do it all by myself. All this strong, independent stuff is great, but it's keeping the man away because we have become more masculine. We've lost our feminine ways. So Oshun is the perfect deity to come restore order back to these people's lives. You know, that's if they want it, but I think it's mandatory that women should have some type of meeting somewhere with each other so they can so we can heal each other, you know, and get order back in the world, you know, because there is no more order.
So, what is femininity? When you said Oshun comes to bring femininity, what is that for Oshun?
Femininity is, you know, the feminine energy, you know, the divine woman, the epitome of womanhood. I mean, she knows how to keep her house. She knows, I'm not saying that, you know, this is a domestic type of thing. She knows how to be a woman. She's a wife all the time when there's no husband. You know what I'm saying? She beautifies herself. She takes care of herself. Um, she knows what a woman is supposed to do. You know, she knows the power of a woman. And we as women need to know and find our power again. You know, because we're powerful beings. And I see us walking around so depressed and suppressed on ourselves, and we become depressed.
Mm.
And so now we taking on roles as taking the man role when there's no need to. You know, if there's no man there, you just keep being a wife and a man will come. A
Mm.
good one, a good man, if you're a good woman. You know, so we have to, I think we as elders have to go out in the community and try to talk to our young female sisters. Like, I'm not trying to make people come to Orisha or anything like this. It's about finding out who you are. You know, so I'm trying to implement some classes here in Detroit so the young girls will have some place to go and spill their beans and pour out their heart, and we can mend it and grow from there. Because a lot of homes are so damaged. You know, a lot of molestation is going on. Like, it's always been going on, but it's like at an all-time high. And we have some mentally challenged sisters out here, and all they need is love. You know, so I'm here to help them out.
So, when we think of Oshun, what are some more of the characteristics? So, I get what you're saying about wife, but there more specific characteristics to her? Because it's one thing to say like sweetness, and because I agree with everything that you're saying,
Hmm.
but sometimes a lot of us don't know what the characteristics are. Like for instance, when I think of a gay man, I think of a lot of sweetness, a lot of softness, a lot of because that's what they emulate, and they're wanting to
Mm-hmm.
be woman. So, what are those characteristics of Oshun?
Oh, well, she is a very powerful warrior. People don't discuss too much. She's, when she laughs, everybody has to watch out because that's when she's her angriest, and she's just, she's a powerful deity that will remove something. She, she removes things fast. She's a no nonsense. When it comes to her children, she's a no nonsense type of mother, a type of energy. She's let me see. I'm gonna try to give you a good.
All right, just take your time. You're doing great.
She is like, how some women want to be this all in all woman, the epitome of everything. I mean, Oshun has her witchcraft down pat. She has she knows how to use the machete real good. She's she throws great parties. She's just an all around woman, a nurturing woman. She loves the children. She's just a complete woman. She knows how to take care of things. I mean, she's a warrior. She can take care of things. She can hunt. She can do all of these things. But she knows that there has to be a man in the picture to make balance. And wait a minute. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Take your time.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you
My
perfectly now.
headphones start staticking a lot. But Oshun is, the
Okay,
rivers.
we can't see your face though.
Oh, you can't see my face?
No,
Wait
lift up a little bit. Lift up. There you go. That's perfect.
a minute. Okay, Oshun is the mighty mother to me. The mighty mother of unconditional love.
Okay.
She is a very nurturing energy. Um, but when you do something against her children, she's the wrath. Once
Hmm.
you do something against her children, she will make you feel it and feel it fast. So she'll smile and stuff in your face, but she is a no nonsense type of person.
Right on.
She loves to party and drink beer and everything from the little stories that we hear. But she's a no nonsense type of person.
Can
Uh,
you can you share one of the stories of Oshun with us that would give us kind of like an example of who she is?
um, Maybe I can give you a little story from O'Shea Tour,
All
Odu
right.
O'Shea Tour. Um, Oludumare had created these beings called the Rumole, Batula, Shango, Ogun, and all of them. He created Oshun last to come down to bring order to the earth. And so all of the men got down on earth and seen Oshun and was like, we're not going to include her in this because she's the only girl and we're men and we can handle this on our own. So Oshun was just sitting over there picking flowers, minding her own business. And Oludumare seen her and said, hey, what are you doing over there by yourself? Excuse me. She said, the men won't include me. So I'm just over here doing my own thing. So Oludumare had to talk with the guys. He said, listen, Oshun is going to be a part of everything. There's nothing that you can do without Oshun. The world won't have any order here without her. And so they was like, oh, okay, whatever. So they, didn't listen to her, and everything went haywire on Earth. It was no order. People were arguing with each other. Cats and dogs were making love to each other. It was just crazy. And then so the rumor lady went back to her to do my radio. It was like, oh, things are going wild down here. We don't know what to do. My radio was like, I told you to include Oshun, because if you don't have that energy, nothing will go right. So Oshun is to be included on everything that you all have going on. So then a rumor lady went and got Oshun, like, oh man, let me go get this woman. So they went and got her and sat down in a meeting with her, and then they went out and did some work. And then in a matter of minutes, the restoration of the earth was so sweet and beautiful, that they were in awe, like, oh my goodness. So I guess we do have to include her in everything. So you can't leave the feminine energy out of anything, not out of anything, not out of anything. So we are having a cycle of women being ran over with masculinity, and it's, I mean, you can be whoever you want to be, but your feminine energy should still shine, because that's where our power is. We are women of power. Nothing can happen without us. Babies can't come, you know, food can't be grown, trees won't grow, you know, children. I mean, it would be so much static here on earth without women. It wouldn't be no life. So women have to be a part of everything.
So how can people find a way to the path of Ifa or whatever the spiritual tradition is to learn more about Oshun as in all of the rest of the pantheon? Like, how can they do that?
Well, first, what I tell everybody, make sure you research what you're getting into and who you're getting into it with, because there's a lot of fraudulent people out here. Um, so they need to Google, ask, go around and visit different things and different places, different elays, and it's really like a word of mouth almost. And if you know somebody that's um, doing Ifa or Orisha and you trust them, then go visit their house. But make sure you Google and do a lot of research on people before you go to them, because there's a lot of charlatans out here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What is the
Okay.
beauty of practicing any African spirituality?
Can you
What is
repeat
the
that?
beauty of it for you?
The beauty of it is, for me, the beauty of practicing African spirituality, it's been in my life all my life. So the beauty of it is the freedom of it, being connected with your ancestors, and you're able to not be amongst this society.
Mm-hmm,
I'm separated from this society, but I live in this society, and it's a sense of freedom. You know,
mm-hmm.
it, I feel my family. I mean, it's like a family reunion.
I got you.
Your whole family on the inside is very happy. For me, it's just a overwhelming and beautiful experience.
Mm. And
To
how
hear
can
the
people?
drums beating on the inside of your soul is
Right.
beautiful.
Wow. How can people get in touch with you if they wanted to learn more?
Well, I have a telephone number. They can call me at 313.
Okay, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna be typing it in the bottom, so hold on just a minute.
Okay.
I want to make sure I get this right. There we go. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. There we go.
Okay.
I always look for that Aretha Franklin picture. Okay, so what's your phone number?
313
Mm-hmm.
970-3208.
Another question I have for you: with all of the different elays, are you all connected through the throughout the U.S. or is there like a national association? Or that's always a question I ask. Who knows? There could be one out there that I don't know.
um, no, I say we're all connected, but no, everybody has like the Lukemi has their own house. Um, Everybody has their own house. Like we come from um Oyo, Ogun house, 365 years. So that's where we come from. So other people come from different lineages that have their own houses, and that's who they deal with. So if someone come from Ogun State, then they have their own house, and their main house is in Ogun State. So they're not really all connected, but we're all connected,
Right on.
whether
Is
they
there
know it or not.
any
All I
particular
say is connected.
right on? Is there any other of the Orishas that's more in line with Oshun in terms of camaraderie or working well together?
Can you repeat that one more time?
I said, are there any of the Orishas that have like compatibleness with Oshun? You know, like is it more Oshun and Shango or Oshun and Ogun, or are there combinations of thereof when getting things done?
Well, I think the Orisha are nature. It's
Mhm.
a nature based thing. So I think all natural things go together. You can't have wind without water. Um, you can't have things without the other. So they all coincide with one another. So I don't personalize them to uh, say that Oshun and Shango get along better than this person and that person
Right.
because they're not people anymore. They're deities, and they all flow together.
So I think you really answered my question when you said the first half about how if it's all nature based, then the relatedness stories would be how the river flows next to, over the water. You know what I mean?
Usher,
Which is naturopathic in terms of like Oya and maybe how she may infuse in with Yemaya or Olokun or
Usher.
that's what I mean when I say that. So I don't mean in terms of people, but I mean in terms of how energy works for the greater part of good. Like you can't
Okay,
have hurricanes without water. Like, you know what
right,
I mean? Because they work together. The wind works with the water. So I think
right.
that's what I'm trying to ask you. Are there any? Because I know there are hundreds of stories with of them coinciding and working together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite stories that I always share with young people is Gloria Lindo from Cuba did a film and she recreated some of the stories. And one is the story of Ogun not wanting to come out of the forest, and they sent Oshun in, and Oshun got him to come out. And so it's kind of because she recreated the story, it's really beautiful. But it's kind of like how you have to use honey and softness to move things along. Even when
Usher.
somebody's very stubborn, like I'm stuck, I'm not moving, there's a way to get people. So I'm really asking about that because I see that with a lot of the stories really help people to understand how things work together for good.
Again, when you read when you read most of the old dudes, you'll see that they all intermingle with each other.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk about when people talk to me about the Lukumi tradition, it's totally different from the traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I know the story about the honey bringing Ogun out of the woods and everything, but there's no separation. Sometimes Ogun and Eshu will go do some jobs together. Sometimes Shango and Ogun will do jobs together. So certain times they work together. So,
Right.
when the tornado starts or the hurricane starts in the middle of the ocean, that's Oya and Yemaja.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to the Lukini people, they say that Oya and Yemaja don't get along. It's energy,
Right. No.
and they do get along. They have to work hand in hand to make it work, to make the wheel turn. And it's a situation where we need to look at the energy and see what we need to do as a people, because if they need each other, to make the wheel turn. We here on earth need each other to make the wheels turn. So we need to go back to the basics and realize that we do need each other.
Right on. Right
You
on.
know. So that's basically where I'm coming from. They all work well together at certain times. Different stories. Um, Ashun and Oshun are the best of friends. Or her son, or something like that. He could be her son. He can be somebody that has a crush on her. I mean, it's just a lot of stories, but they all work together.
Right, right.
So it's always morals to the story about getting your life right.
Right.
So I love the Orisha.
Me too. I love stories because people learn a lot through stories. I grew up with a lot of elders, and they shared a lot of stories. And it was really for you to more like an example of
Hmm.
how to get things done, or what's the process, or a process you may be going through to get to an outcome. So even when I would hear stories from elders around the Orishas, it was always to get to like a moral so you can
Right,
learn, because that's
right.
how a lot of people learn. They learn, not all of us, but a lot of us learn through storytelling. Like there's usually a moral in it. Like I'm a big fan of the Twilight Zone, and what I love
Oh,
about the
me too.
Twilight Zone is that there's always a moral in there. And
Right.
it may be disguised as sci-fi, but it really is about the mind and how we think, and how things move through us or come to us when we need it. And so I see that sometimes when I hear the stories. Um, in the tradition. So what are some of your final thoughts as we wrap up the interview?
Well, my final thoughts are I want everybody to take their journey with caution. Don't try to jump out into finding out who your head Orisha is and all of this stuff so fast, and joining a house so fast. You have to research, let it resonate, and do your own research on what you're getting yourself into. You
Right.
know that. And one more thing I want to say
Sure,
is
please.
to the ladies. A lot of ladies are going to different so-called priests and paying with sex. Yeah, so I'm just telling the ladies now, you don't have to lay down to get the things that you need, not even in spirituality. If there's any priest asking you for any type of sex, run far away. Please run away. Because I hear a lot of women saying, yes, he said that my sacrifice was to have sex with him.
Wow.
So a lot of us are coming from a damaged place, and we're just looking for somebody to trust.
Mm,
At this point, we have to trust ourselves.
right on. Right on.
So, and be careful going out there looking for your spiritual teacher, guide, or whatever you want to call it. You have to be careful.
Mm.
Please research. I was so
Um,
nervous.
no, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. So a part of this is to introduce people to just something more traditional than just wearing traditional clothes, which is great. But also learning about spiritual practices, and I tried to hear what people think about. Like last week when I interviewed the other Iya,
And
her.
she was beautiful too.
Oh
I
my!
really
I hung
love
out with her
her.
on Friday. She's incredible. Like
Yes,
her
yeah, yeah,
history is.
Jimmy.
Woo! She's been. Oh my! Like I'm.
Yeah, tell her I said Alafia.
Yeah, she's been. I'm gonna be seeing her this Friday evening. I'm gonna be getting a reading from her. So I'm just. But also then there's Fonlayo who just moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it's like all of these. Um, Beautiful people who practice in the traditional spirituality that I think we need to be more aware of. Because it's easy to discover all of the other so-called the traditional ones that we know in Western civilization. So it's easy to find them. Like there's churches on every corner. And you got people kind of walking and have the experience. So just because you practice a traditional way don't mean you don't get caught up in the stuff that come with just being human beings. Because
Right.
the stuff you just talked about, that could easily be church. You know what I mean? So I just think that the human um, ideal of being a human being, it just goes across no matter what you talk, what you practice. I think
Right.
people are trying to look for something that's going to connect them to their identity in the spiritual sense. Because I think religion is one thing, but spirituality is something that you constantly have to keep working at. You don't get to a plateau in spirituality. You're constantly, a 3-year-old can come and bring you a message, but if you're working, you know, if you're in your spiritual work, you can understand the message. But if you think you already made it, you act like they don't have anything to teach you when they
Right.
really do.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so you did great. Yeah, you did really great. Because it's just great to hear from the elders. Like that's how we gain knowledge. You know,
O'Shea.
it's how we gain knowledge. So
You're
you
so
did good.
beautiful.
Uh,
And after the show, I appreciate you so much. I want to get your address and send you a gift or something.
oh no, you don't have to. I
I
have to
know.
figure out how we all gather together because I think there's so much for us to learn from each other. I just really do. Like I do the
Well,
road trip
maybe,
every year. You right in Detroit. We come to Detroit every year on our way to Windsor. Every year we
really?
come to Detroit. Yeah.
So look,
Hold on.
we need to get a little conference going on
I'm down with that.
to get everybody together. So, we can talk about it and try to
Yeah,
pull some things together. And it can be like a family reunion, get people from everywhere to
I agree.
come to this conference for 3 days or
No,
whatever.
we can make that happen. Trust me. So
Right.
Iya, thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank
Wow,
you.
this was
Thank
a
you
great
for the
interview. This is not going
experience.
to be the last time we talk. Please believe that. But I
Okay.
hope that you will use this social medium to go on and talk about things that you have going on. I mean, even share I just love stories because people really get stories, but it's kind of like, sharing things about stories, that will lead us into a spiritual tradition or at least want to discover. I'm one of those people, I have to travel to places to get it. Like I was like, oh, that's awesome. Then I want to go
Right.
there.
Right.
So I
Right.
think that that's really beautiful. Like we need to hear your wisdom. As much as we see crazy stuff on social media, we need to see some grounded spiritual stuff. I love your message about the woman, learning to step into her power and understanding the balance between masculine and feminine energy. That's something we don't get to hear a lot about, and
Right.
we should.
I mean, and it needs to be discussed. I mean, we have like I just want before we go,
Yeah,
we have lesbian women. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have a problem with you being lesbian. That's your life, your path, or whatever you want to do.
right on.
I love everybody the same. But we have lesbians that are dressing like men and things like that. They have totally given up their femininity, totally given it up. We have women that are not lesbians that are overbearing on their young sons. They're too manly, even though they're not lesbians. So we need to have conferences so we can get our woman back. You know what I'm saying? For those that want it back. You know what I'm saying? We need to have people that we can call when we have a crisis. Like I need to call Rolanda and ask her some questions because I don't know if I'm wrong in my relationship with my man. We need to have lines where people can call and talk with us about certain things that's going on in their life.
Right on. Right on.
As elders in the community, we can't be far away from our community. Ifa and Orisha is not, it's community. It's not for you. I
Right
can't
on.
keep Ifa to myself because it's for the community. Ifa Fumiwa, that's my name. Ifa Fumiwa means I bring Ifa to the community, to everybody. So that's my goal, you know what I'm saying? Because even if I can't bring Ifa to everybody, I sure can bring the ancestors,
Right on.
because we're nothing without a foundation. And this is why we're regress people, because we're not venerating our ancestors. We think they're just dead.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get back to the basics so we can reclaim our community back. So that's my mission. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm going to do before I leave this earth.
Right on,
Okay.
right on.
So,
No, that was great. That was so great. Thank you so much, Iya. And ditto, ditto, ditto on everything you said. I just think no matter how much it may appear to be masculine energy, all of those people you described know that they're female. Because even though you can look like a man and put on the clothes, if somebody punched you in the chest, you would know that you were a woman. I hate to say it like that because it's an energy. It's kind of like somebody trying to masquerade that they're one thing, but who they are is still there. Because even though those women may seem kind of strong and hard, and it's probably for a reason. I think sometimes we skip the reason and go to the symptom. Go to
right,
what's the outcome. But I also know those women could soften up if they understood the balance. Because sometimes in the world, if you show up soft, people will crush you like an ant. And so
right,
that's why people kind of come. But I think if we teach women about choosing better mates to have their children with, so their son would have a father who could add balance. I think we haven't done enough of the root work, and all we are seeing is just the outcomes of
right.
seeing
That's
so many
right.
women be hard. But I know they don't want to be hard. I believe that. I believe we do this armor thing when we feel like no one's protecting us because we are
Right,
so not protected like other groups. Like it's like,
right.
like we're always the protector. And sometimes when you want to step back and let them protect,
And
if they're
be
not there,
protected. Yes.
who's gonna protect you if you can't even see who the person is? But
Right.
I believe that spirit is so powerful that all of those groups in particular we're talking about, they would soften up because it doesn't leave them. I don't care how they dress it up. It
Right.
don't go anywhere.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's like wearing a mask. You take the mask off at the end of the day, you still got the same face. You wear makeup as a mask. You take the makeup off, your face is still there. So I don't think it leaves. I just think right now we got to really address, and that's why I'm really big on the spirituality piece. How do we bring the wisdom in so we let the wisdom do the work? And then people start taking that stuff off and start to be their beautiful feminine selves. But I
Right.
think somehow, we're lacking some very basic things that allow us to be feminine unapologetically. Like you don't have to worry about, you know, having to protect yourself. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? That comes from somewhere. So your wisdom helped to shed a lot of light on that. And we're definitely going to do this again. I'm going to try to, I still got more interviews over the week, but I'm definitely going to be in contact with you because Iya Coletta's on here and she talked about as well, like we need to do something where we pull ourselves together. I just think we need, and one of the reasons why I'm interviewing a lot of women and not necessarily men, because I want people to talk in some nurturing. I'm really doing the feminine thing. I want to hear some nurturing forms of walking into femininity instead of the hard line, like you gotta be
Right.
like this,
Right.
because everybody don't learn that way. Some people don't do
No.
rough and rugged. We lose people sometimes because
Yes.
they feel like, because I don't like it when people are hard on me, because then my warrior come out, but in the masculine form, because I feel like now I'm being attacked. So it's
Right.
kind of like, but I also know when people talk to me with honey, you can get me to do anything. I just be like, well, what you need? Well, what can I do? Because it's something about honey. It tastes good. It feels good. Even though it's sticky, it still feels good. So it's just kind of like, how do we pull these elders together to share their wisdom so we can improve ourselves as African people? That, for me. So, but
Well,
I feel
I think like what I said earlier, the elders, we have to send for them. We have to have a place where we're having some type of function and get our elders into one building and discuss some things. And it can happen, like I said, we should put something together so we can get everybody together under one roof.
we are going to do that. We
Okay.
are going to do it
Ashe,
because I love
ashe,
it. I just love sitting in the energy of it. So I'm like, yes, we are going to do that.
ashe.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will be in contact with you again. Matter of fact, when we hang up, I'm gonna give you a call right back, but offline, and
Okay.
then I'll talk to you for a minute before I go on to my day to work. So, family, thank you for joining us on Traditional Tuesdays. The way to the path. We talked about Osun with our great Queen Mother Elder, Iya Ofumi.
Oh, my
Peace,
family.
family.